In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a single motif and use it to embellish a custom applique monogram frame. If you'd like to learn more about ELD software, please click on the link in the description below. So come on, let's get started. Okay, let's begin by creating our single motif. Let's grab our artwork brush, and the fast draw tool is fine. Let's increase the view to 1 to 3. That makes it easier to see for this. I'm going to left click here. I'm going to hold down the shift key and notice that the line moves in 15-degree increments. I'm going to just run right along that grid line, and I will left click and I will press enter so the line is generated. I want this to be 8 millimeters. So we can come up under the properties docker, and you'll see under transform, if I type in 8, my line now becomes 8 millimeters. We'll now select the convert to run motif, and it automatically converts to the default motif that pops up. Notice that there's 2 of those. Because the pattern size is 4 millimeters, I get 2 repeats. I want to change this to the candle wicking stitch, and you'll scroll through. There's lots of motifs in ELD. If you head over to the files section, in our inner circle group, you will find 5 or 6 JDX files where you can stitch out the samplers for all of these motifs so you can see what they look like. But I'm going to use the candle wicking one today, and notice too that that pattern size is about 4 millimeters, so I get 2 right here. Well, I want this to be 8 millimeters. So all I have to do is increase this to 8 and press enter, and now I have a single candle wick stitch. I also want to increase the stitch length. Notice right now there's 65 stitches just in this one little motif. If I increase the stitch length to 8, we'll get nice long run stitches making a pretty little star. And when I do that, notice the stitch count goes dramatically down. So this is definitely stitch friendly. Let's change this to a fuchsia color. And the next step is to create a ring of these little candle wick stitches. So if you come up under arrange and put on path, you'll notice that now the little candle wick stitch will go along the edge of any of these templates that are built into ELD. I'm going to come down under path number 13, which is the circle. And we have, our circle is now filled with these candle wicking stitches. I want my circle just a little bit smaller, so I'm going to come under here and type in 85. And now the circle is smaller, and it also decreases the number of motifs going around the circle. But I want even fewer candle wicking stitches. I just want them a little bit further apart. And to do that, you come under spacing. Right now, they're 1.5 millimeters apart. If I type in 12 millimeters and press enter, notice you've got a greater space in between each of these little candle wick stitches, and that was the look that I'm going after. So I'm going to say finished. It pops up on screen. It's centered on the 0, 0 mark. If I select all these candle wick motifs, they do come in as grouped. So whenever you use the arrange tool, objects come in as grouped. But there's also a nice little handy feature I want to show that was included in Build 2071. And now grouped objects, you'll see a little color highlighted mark next to them, so you'll be able to tell when you have different items that are grouped on your screen. So if I select this right now and say ungroup, it removes it, and all these stitches are individuals, and I can move them separately. So I just wanted to point that new feature out to you. So our next step is going to come here, and we're going to add the applique. So I'm going to select the applique tool. We'll switch over to the circle, and I am going to line up on this line right here and I'm going to drag straight across. So we pretty much cover that little running line, and left click, the applique has now been created. But you can see when I turn 3D view on that the applique is sitting on top of the candle wick stitches, and I don't want that. So I'm going to select this right here, and I'll just move them straight to the top. So it'll say move first. So it's the triangle with the line on top. And now the applique is going to stitch first, and then we'll have the candle wick stitches. I do want to change the color of the applique. So I want to come under here, I have it selected, and I'll just say blue. And you have your options to change the colored thread for the different placement, tack down, and border lines. So I'm going to make more border blue. And I personally like to have my placement lines and tack down lines consistent in all the designs I create. So I have just chosen this Brother 4 as my placement line, and the Brother 11 color is my tack down line. So for me personally, I just like that. I find that keeps me organized when I'm working on my appliques. When I see a color, I automatically know, okay, that's the placement or the tack down line. So as I mentioned, the applique comes in grouped. I want to ungroup that because I want to make a change to this satin border right here. So if we right click, it will say break up applique. And what that does now is it separates the individual objects. So I'm going to grab that satin border. I have the steel border selected, and I'm going to convert it to a steel run. So this will do the satin border, but it will also have a run stitch on top of it. I'm going to highlight that run stitch right now by changing the color, just like in the applique. When the steel run gives you two color choice options. The first one is for the steel border, and the second one is for the decorative stitch that goes on top. So I'm just going to select color 2, and you can see that it automatically changes colors. Let's continue to make a few more property changes to this. I'll open up the properties docker. I want to change the satin width, and I'm going to turn 3D off so you can see the changes being made. I want to change the satin width to 4 millimeters. And I also want to add a parallel underlay. The parallel is just a simple zigzag that will run underneath it. And now let's change the run stitch to a bean stitch. So I'll come under bean style. Right now it's set to none. I'm going to change it to a bean. I want it to have a 4 millimeter stitch length, so type 4 in there. And I also want it to have 5 passes of thread. And what that means is the bean stitch is going to go back and forth 5 times before it advances to create the next stitch. It's a nice little extra detail and adds a little emphasis to the design. So I'll turn the 3D on, and you will see that now I have that triple bean stitch or 5-pass bean stitch that will run on top. Let's further add a little bit more embellishment to this monogram frame. So let's select the steel run again. This time we will use the specialty contour feature. I'm going to add a bean stitch on the outside and inside of the satin border. So we're just going to select both for that. I'm going to have one ripple, which means it will be one on this side and one on that side. We'll keep it to round since it's a circle. And the spacing, we need to have it at 2 because the satin width is 4 millimeters. So whatever your satin width is, you want to divide by 2. So if this was 5, you would then put 2.5 right here. But in this case, we'll just type in 2, and I'll say OK. And what that does is on the sequence docker, you will see, I'm going to deselect that, it creates the outline on each side of the satin border. However, whenever you use the contour feature, it comes in at artwork. So you then need to convert it to a different stitch type. So I want to convert that also to a bean stitch. So we first come under convert to run. And then on the properties docker, we can make the necessary changes. So again, we'll put 4 millimeter stitch length. We'll have a bean, and we will also have 5 repeats. And I will just press enter, and I'll turn this off. Let's change the black to a different color so we can see it. So let's just change that to a green. Another feature in Build 2071 is this feature right here. I want to move these up so they stitch directly under the steel run stitch. So I'm going to just deselect this first. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to select these 2 run paths, And this is a new tool right here, and it's called Resequence as Selected. And it's going to automatically move those bottom 2 stitches so they stitch directly under the first object that was chosen, and it will skip all of these stitches. So when I do that, watch what happens. It automatically pops up. This is an excellent new feature that's been added, and been waiting for this one for a long time. So it's great when you need to resequence your designs very quickly. And I'll be putting a tips post on all the specifics in our Inner Circle group. So now we have all that organized, and that the applique is exactly the way I want it. Now's the time to add our monogram, of course. So I'm going to smooth the property docker over here. Under the text tab, we do have a monogram text feature, and it comes in as this. I'm going to just turn the 3D off. So the text comes here. I'm going to change this monogram style to this one down here called Intertwined Monogram. I'll select it, and we need to change it from text to say ELD. So I'm going to type ELD and either hit tab, or you can right click and it will generate the new monogram. So this looks a little small, so I'm just going to grab it and use the bounding boxes just to make it a little bit larger, and I'll just line it up in the center of my design. Or if you want it perfectly centered, you can come up here and do a line center, and it will just nudge it right on the 0, 0 mark. So I think that looks very nice. I do personally like on my monograms to add a little additional pull compensation, especially on these letters that are swirly in nature. It just fattens them up ever so slightly, but I think it has a very pretty look. So I'm just going to increase the pull comp on that to 3. And if we turn 3D view back on again, you'll notice that the E, let me make that blue because it's a little bit easier to see. The E will stitch out, then the L, and then the D. I want to rearrange this because typically in monograms, you want the first and the middle initials with the last name on top. Or if it's a couple, you would have the initial of one person, first name right here, and then the initial of the first name of the other person there with the last name initial on top. So we need to break this apart. So I selected the text, and I'm going to say break up text, and we'll head back over to the sequence view, and we can see that the letters have been broken apart. I can just take the D. I can either use the bump it up one arrow, so it would move it right up in place, or I can also just click and drag it in place. So there are lots of options to move things on the sequence view and reorganize your stitching order. And we will run this through the redraw. So I'm going to click View Redraw, and it'll pop up right down here. And this is the quick way to see how your design stitches out. So the placement line will come down, you'll lay down your fabric, you'll stitch the tack down line, trim away the excess fabric around that circle, then you're going to stitch the satin border, then will come the triple or the 5-pass bean stitch on the inside and the outside, then you will have the individual motifs stitched, and finally the monogram. Before we save our design, I want to point out a new feature up here. It's called Design Notes. And you can come in and make notes about your design. So let's say you wanted to list the name of the monogram or any special notes. In this case, I want to just say the way we're going to stitch it out. So I'll just say placement line, and then I'll just doing this quickly. We'll do tack down line, then we'll say trim fabric, then we'll say stitch remaining design, and I'll say OK. What's great about this is when you come up under print, you now have the ability to see all of your notes print right out here. So this is a great option when you are doing appliques or any in the hoop design. So I wanted to show that to you now that you can now have the ability to print out your notes. So finally, we need to save our design. So come up and click Save As and type your name and save this as a JDX file. The Save As icon will only save in the native file format, the JDX. So we'll just say save. I've already saved this, so I'm going to cancel that out. But to export your design in your machine file, you want to click on the Export As icon that was just recently added in a newer build. So you'll just come down and select your favorite machine file format and click Save. And of course, I already have this saved. So I'm going to show you how this stitches out now. It's fast and easy. First, you will stitch the placement line, and then you're going to remove the hoop and lay a piece of 4-inch fabric over top and secure it with tape. You'll return the hoop back to your machine and stitch the tack down line. Then you'll carefully trim the excess fabric away from the circle. Then return the hoop and finish stitching out your completed monogram. I hope you enjoyed learning how to use different tools and techniques in the ELD digitizing software so that you can create your custom applique monogram frames. Please be sure to post your results in the inner circle. We'd love to see them.